Do you think it depletes you when you give all the time?
I've had this conversation, and I had this conversation actually yesterday with somebody. I said, you know what, if you have an attitude of gratitude and you serve others first, you will get what you want. Well, and she was saying, you know what, I'm tired of giving. When are people, because all they do is take from me.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean that I have to give to the point where it costs me emotionally draining, that it hurts me.
Sure.
Right? But I can give, I can help. When people ask me and say, Mike, can you give me some advice on X?
Yeah.
And I'll give you advice. Mm-hmm. Now, I only have 24 hours a day, just like you do. Mm-hmm. Time is very valuable to me. Mm-hmm. So if I take my time out of my life that I could have been doing something else, spending with my family, whatever it is I want to do, and I give you advice, and then you come back to me later and you ask me essentially the same advice, you didn't take action on the advice I gave you, yeah. I don't want to give you any more advice.
Sure.
And I
so
have to learn the power of no.
selectively who you give to.
Right, you can't give to everybody.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Even Mother Teresa has to say no.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay?
you can cut off very depleting sources that are just using you all the time.
You can tell when you're being used.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And it doesn't mean that I have to give with the expectation of getting something in return. Mm-hmm. What I'm talking about is more just your attitude of trying to serve others, trying to make their life better. It doesn't mean I have to fix their problem, but I can support them in their efforts to fix their own problem. Mm-hmm. Big difference. A lot of people want to take the monkey from my back and dump it on your back.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Because now it's your problem and now I can blame you if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But you could support me in solving my own problem, getting the monkey off my own back and putting it somewhere else, right? Versus taking that on. So it's a matter of having boundaries. We all need to have boundaries to protect ourselves. If you don't protect yourself first, nobody else will.
Right.
So it's, and everybody's a little bit different. Well, where's that boundary? Well, I don't know where it is, right? It goes back to what's true for you is true for you. What's true for me is true for me.
Yeah.
So we have to know, well, where have I been in the past that when I've given this, that it caused me pain? Okay, well, that's where my boundary is. I can go up to this point, and then ultimately, when somebody, and a lot of times the giving typically is associated with money. Mm-hmm. And if I have friends or family that ask me for money, I have a rule, right? Some of us may have heard this before, but you don't give to friends or family unless you never expect to get it back.
Mm-hmm. It's a good rule.
Right? Because if you make a loan, you're not going to get it back.
Yeah.
Because unrealized expectations leads to aggravation.
Ah. Unrealized expectations.
Unrealized expectations
leads to aggravation.
Leads to aggravation.
Yep. True.
So if I give money to a friend or a family member and I expect to get it back, when I don't get it back, that unrealized expectation, I'm really aggravated. Mm-hmm. You know, do I want to burn the bridge and hold it over their head? You know, you just don't lend money to friends and family. It's just a rule.
Right.
Regardless of what the story is, or if you lend it, it's not a lend, it's not a loan. You may call it a loan, but don't have the expectation you're ever going to get it back because you probably won't. So if you don't have that expectation, you're not setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. Yeah. So this law of value is leading with a giving and a serving mentality instead of a taking mentality.
When you serve others first, right? That's my motto, is I serve others first. When people say, well, Mike, what are you passionate about? So a question I'll always ask people, and I really don't care what you do. I don't care what your job is. I'll go to a party or something and people ask me, and it's a question that throws people off because they're not used to it. They're used to, well, who are you, what do you do, how much do you make, how are you going to further my career?
Yeah.
I really don't care what you do.
Yeah.
What I want to know is a little bit more about you, and so I'll ask, well, what are you passionate about? It's a different question.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Right? Sure. So what's somebody's passionate? Well, I'm about helping kids and doing that, so, whatever it is for them, and then I'll say, well, what do you do for work? And they'll tell me the work. I say, well, are you passionate about your job? No. And I'm like, well, are you living your dream or somebody else's?
Another good question, yeah.
Right. You live in your dream or somebody else's? Well, I feel trapped. Well, why do you feel trapped, right? So now it starts getting down to the core of who they are in their own self-worth. Sure. Once they start to think about it, and it's interesting, I've had these conversations with people and at different income levels, okay? They're all over the place. But when they have that philosophical conversation with themselves about, do I really want this job because it's not my passion, right? Somebody may say, well, I'm an artist, that's my true passion, but art doesn't pay, right? Not until you're dead, but then it's too late. Right? You gotta be dead to really have it pay. But there are other ways to support your art by doing something that's still close to your passion. Maybe it's teaching or something else that would support one supports the other. Sure. right? I buy and sell a lot of companies, but then I use the profits from those companies to give back to folks that are less fortunate than I am. I love creating fresh drinking water projects in different countries. We're trying to buy a school in India to put more kids to school. I donate heavily to Doctors Without Borders and St. Jude's Hospital for children, right? So
those are your
one
passions.
leads to the other.
Sure.
Those are, my passion is what I do, right? I guess I'm a fortunate person. I know what my passion is. I love to help others, and buying and selling companies, I have a lot of fun with that, but it's
it
a
allows
means to
you
an
to
end
do
to
it.
allow me to really live my passion.
Sure. Okay, great.